Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I would like to give you the first ever live preview of our upcoming zones feature, which is about geofencing asset tracking on Datacake. This workspace that you currently see is a live demonstration, but let's start from scratch. I have created an empty workspace, and the first thing I'm going to do is add a GPS powered device. We pick LoRaWAN, and let's pick, for example, the ioTracker number 3, just going through it. I just brought in random ID because I'm not going to connect a physical device, which is not needed, but let's jump through it. Yes, the free plan, remember 5 devices for free. And this is now being added to the platform. We can click on that and we can see that, yeah, because there's no physical device behind it, it has no location and no data. But what we are able to do is we are also able to simply set the location manually. I'm going to pick a location somewhere random in Germany, set it, and now this is reflected on the dashboard. Okay, so we have set the position. We can see it here on the map on the device, and because this is assigned to the device location tag of the device, we can also see it in the global map. That was everything you could do with GPS position tracking on Datacake. And now I'm going to show you the zones feature. Okay, to enable zones, you can see on the sidebar we have a new element, zones, and we can click on that. So now you see a new overview dashboard. And with introducing zones, we also want to introduce automatically created KPIs directly instead of you requiring to create a dashboard manually. So you can use the tracking application directly out of the box. So the first thing we're going to do is create an actual zone. We click on list, add zone, and then you have a picker where you can basically, it starts with a location near to you, but you can now go ahead, pick one of those here, and then basically let's go somewhere into this area and create a zone. For the first release, we will have zones that are circular. We will add more shapes and custom polygons later on. We add this zone. This zone has been added. We can see this is the first zone and some description. 0 objects or devices linked to it. You can also click on the zone and then you see some statistics for this zone, an audit log, configuration of the zone, and the map actually. Now, if the device would have a position that was already inside of the zone, we would see the device immediately appearing here. But because that's not the case, we are going to set the position of this device manually into the zone. Go into the configuration, set value. It probably was somewhere here, set value, and let's see. Yeah, we have one zone, we have one device inside of the zones, and the most crowded one for sure is my first zone, and the least crowded one is my first zone because I just have one. That would say which zone has the most devices, the least devices. Also, devices entered in last 24 hours means the device that enters the zone within the last 24 hours and devices that have not entered any zone within last 24 hours. We can see the list again, and we can see an audit log. We see now that Simon's ioTracker number 3 was entrance into the zone, my first zone, 31 seconds ago. And we can see everything on the map. Now, if we switch the tabs here into this tab here, we can see a live demo with some more devices in it. In this workspace, we have a list of public transportation buses in a nearby city, and we are tracking them for a very long time, some of them longer than the others. And if I go in one of those devices, we can also see the route and so on. So now with these zones features, we can see we have 8 zones. We can see those zones in here. And also all of these devices around, some have a public custom icon. On the overview and the KPIs, you can see 8 zones in total. 8 devices are inside of the zone and the rest is outside. The most crowded one is in the inner city of Münster, and the least crowded one is a place outside of Münster, which is called Wolbeck. We can see that these devices have changed within the last 24 hours. And we can also see that this device hasn't changed within the last 24 hours. And we can see that it has last moved 2 days ago. We can click on either zone, get into the zone, see more statistics, but also click on the device itself. Let's click on the device. We get into this device and we can see, yes, it seems to be really stationary. And we also don't have any statistics on kilometers per day, kilometers per hour. Let's go back into zones. We can also see in the list here the number of zones. Then we can also filter based on which zone has the most objects, which is the Münster inner city zone. We can click on that. We can see, okay, right now 5 devices are in that zone. 16 of these devices are outside of the zone. Then we have an average time in this zone. This means how long or the cumulative amount of time a device right now spends in that zone for an average. And we can see that within the last 24 hours, 4 devices have been moving inside of the zone. This means that there's probably one bus which goes through the main zone all of the time, and this leads to the average time in zone. So based on this average time, you can also see not how crowded a zone is, but how frequently visited a zone is. You can see audit log. Again, in here, we can see the various kinds of objects with their particular actions. Right now, only entry and exit. And yeah, you can configure it. You can go back to zones. You can get into the list, into the map, see everything. You can even click on a zone. There are no devices in here. Then we click on this one here and we can see there's just one device. Let's see. Yeah, one is outside. This is because of the clustering for sure. So we can see this one is outside. We can even click on the device here and have the usual way how Datacake works with the sidebar dashboard. And because it's a combination of the Datacake platform and the rest of the functionalities, for sure, everything else like redesigning a dashboard also works. You can go in here, mobile, and then click around and have the same features as always, like creating custom widgets for sensor data, custom data. Like in here, it's simulated engine temperature, simulated outdoor temperature. But if I would change would be applied to all of these devices in here. Yeah. That was a very fast presentation of the new zones feature. If you want to test it out right now, feel free to send me a direct message and arrange something. Other than that, it will be released in a couple of days or weeks. And of course, we will bring more and more features to it. Next of it is automatic notifications and reports for KPIs and based on the feedback that you provide. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and talk to you soon.